In part 1 of our big phone dual camera comparison, we pitted the Mate 9 against the iPhone 7 Plus. Now it's time for the real challenge. Android 7 to Android 7, manual modes to manual modes, truly bigger screens to truly bigger screens. For you specs junkies, you can pause the video here to see what these two powerhouses are packing. And with that out of the way, looking at build quality and design, we have a split decision. We'd likely side with the Mate 9 as the more attractive device. Subtle seams don't distract as much, and the shiny sides with tiny jewel-like faucets are appealing. The V20, on the other hand, is, well, charmingly ugly, like the love child of a BlackBerry and an IBM ThinkPad. The LG is the more practical of the two though, enhanced drop protection and a user-replaceable battery. When out and about, both phones live in some kind of cover, because both are too large to be this slippery. But for folks who like to use their phones naked, the V20 will do a better job of surviving daily abuse. These displays also compete well. The Mate will allow the user to control a higher brightness, but under auto conditions doesn't seem to get any brighter. The LG limits the manual brightness, but in auto mode can burst around 15% brighter than the Mate. We'll give this win to the LG though for having the higher resolution, about 1.5 million more pixels on the V20 on a slightly smaller diagonal. In the hand, we'll call this a tie for ergonomics, both featuring rear-mounted fingerprint sensors and side-mounted volume rockers, though the LG could do with slightly larger volume keys. As for software and performance, Huawei is skinning and tweaking more than LG. The V20 allows more of stock nougat to poke through, and LG has toned down the amount of UI customizations. Huawei, on the other hand, is still messing around quite a bit with EMUI. While the layout is more Android-like than previous Huawei's we reviewed, it's still a unique experience. EMUI is Huawei's custom skin, but it goes more than skin deep. It's supposedly able to take advantage of machine learning. This improves system performance and resource allocation as the phone ages, but we'll have to test those assertions at a later date. As for the hardware, Huawei's Kirin 960 chipset easily outperforms the Qualcomm 820 in the LG for CPU-dependent tasks. And in daily operation, we would anecdotally agree, the Mate feels snappier. Though the Mate falls about 10% behind in graphics benchmarks, both phones feel about the same in daily gaming performance. The audio game is also a split. The Huawei wins for speaker playback. Stereo speakers are always appreciated when gaming or watching videos, but the V20 headphone jack is second to none, while the Mate 9 is tied for last in our testing. If you cable up some good headphones, it's no contest. The LG wins against all comers. A quick look at battery life, and the Mate walks away with a substantial victory here. The larger battery lasts longer, and the Mate 9 charges significantly faster. The counter-argument for the LG is that you can swap batteries, but both devices out of the box, Huawei's solution is formidable. And that brings us to the real showdown, these cameras. Dual sensors, but very different philosophies. The Mate 9 uses two cameras in tandem to improve light, color, and contrast. The LG uses one camera for a standard view, and the second for an ultra-wide angle look at the world. Looking at photos, while the V20's wide angle is flexible, we have to give the overall win here to the Mate. Detail, clarity, lens quality, and fun features. The Mate 9 just edges out the V20. Neither camera is a top-tier performer when shooting full auto, but both deliver well-stocked manual modes which take these respective shooters to another level. There's an undefinable quality to Mate 9 photos which is highly subjective, but something we really enjoy when shooting on Huawei hardware. The way the camera paints in detail that might have been lost to a bright exposure, or the way you can eke out a bit more dynamic range in a finished JPEG. The Mate's wide aperture mode is amazing for software blurring, another benefit of using two cameras with the same field of view to aid in depth analysis. The V20 has a fun pop-out mode, but the results just look more like a collage and aren't nearly as dramatic. When we switch to video though, the V20 absolutely crushes. The Mate 9 delivers optical image stabilization in UHD video, but it just can't compete against how well refined LG's camera app and output are. Smoother, better detailed, and true full manual controls over every aspect of video production, from shutter speed to bitrate and aspect ratio to full audio controls. The Mate 9 is a respectable video shooter. The V20 is a nearly production-grade monster performer. There honestly isn't a clear winner here for camera performance. If you shoot more stills than video, we'd lean towards the Mate 9. If you mix up some video, there's just no beating the V20. Happily, either camera would likely do well in the hands of a mobile photography enthusiast. So let's wrap this up. Where does that leave us between the Huawei Mate 9 and the LG V20? This is my Sophie's choice of the year. Two monster phablets. Precious few premium large screen options this year, and these two phones represent the category exceedingly well. A potential customer really couldn't go wrong with either as a daily driver, but chalking up personal experiences, I'd be inclined to side with the LG V20. It's an exceedingly close fight, but the enhanced drop resistance, incredible headphone jack, and more complete video options just barely tip the scales for me over the Mate's battery life, still photo, and CPU performance wins. As I've been wrapping up the reviews and comparisons for these two devices though, this is maybe the happiest I've been all year, carrying both phones around with me as daily drivers. And of course, we want to hear from you. Which phone takes the win? Vote in our viewer poll by hitting the more info icon in the upper right corner of this video. As always, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for more reviews and comparisons like these, and help us out with some sharing on your favorite social networks. For Pocketnow, I'm Juan Carlos Bagnell, some gadget guy on Twitter and Instagram, and I will catch you all on the next comparison.